Hello and welcome. We are on Talk Right today, and we're going to talk about a topic which is quite important in these days of the pandemic, and it's something that is touching everyone's heart, mind, and possibly everyone and anyone in the firm and in the office or even your family. And that's about the I would not say the challenges, but how to overcome those challenges, and it's about being resilient. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So I am here, Santosh, and with me, Mayur. Uh, going to touch on quite a few aspects of, I would say, a very serious topic, but there are ways to deal with it and manage it. And it's all about resilience, bouncing back in life. I mean, it's easy to talk to, but I think there are ways we can address that. Okay, face it. That's very important. And then try and see how we can really overcome the issues that we face in our day-to-day lives. And it's all about bouncing back and taking that big leap and being positive. Over to you,
Yeah,
Mike.
yeah. Thank you. Viewers, welcome. And Santosh, good to see you once again. Good topic, strong topic. Like you said, a serious topic. But what's important is how we're able to, go ahead and see what can be done because that's exactly what resilience is all about. I was just trying to read about people and not just in these COVID times presently, but even in times
Yeah.
how people in tough situations have, if I can borrow your words, bounce back is so important. I'd like to begin by saying that there are people who come to my mind who have been examples of resilience. Um, at the outset, what is it? I mean, you can go to the dictionary and check, but very simply, it's about how uh, the boxer, despite being knocked down, he gathers all his conviction and his strength, his mental strength, and still, as the knockdown count is going on, he still struggles
Yeah.
and finally manages to stand up and
Yeah.
face the boxer. What happens next is for destiny.
Yeah.
There have been occasions I've seen a video where this guy just happens to stand up on the 10th count. He saved and he wins the fight because then the bell happens, and then he comes back and he defeats the opponent who had just knocked him out.
Yeah.
I give this example because if I were to look at it, one person who comes, the two people who come to my mind, but the person I want to start off with is Nelson Mandela. The attitude, viewers, to not give up, be resilient, be strong, and that too mentally. I bring Nelson Mandela because I look at this session where we explore people across the globe because we are one here, and the whole globe at the moment is going through its own difficulties, because of the COVID.
Yeah.
I saw, Santosh, that, and when I read about Nelson Mandela, is he was imprisoned for more than 30 years, I think, if I'm not mistaken, at least more than 25 years, 30 years, I think. And I've seen documentaries where he was put in this particular confinement of a room which was not big, maybe just could accommodate him. And yet through all that, his resilience to not give up on the unification of his country and the defeat of apartheid, the racism aspect. I mean, anybody else would have crumbled here.
Yeah.
For me, that's an example of being strong in the worst situation.
True.
Another person that comes to my mind is Steve Jobs from a professional perspective. And I want to highlight on this, Santosh, give me some time, okay? Steve Jobs, and viewers know whom I'm talking about, but let me just say it in a sentence. He's the person who, thanks to him, we use the iPhone and the iMac and etc. Uh, this person created Apple, the, the biggest cash-rich company in the world, okay? And from the same company that he formed, he was chucked out. The person who he brought from another organization as a marketing director, he colluded with the other directors, and because it's a public limited company, he got Steve Jobs thrown out. Steve Jobs left. I mean, he was asked to leave, goes back home, starts crying, gets completely stressed out. He goes through a nervous breakdown. He sits in a corner. He contemplates taking his life. Nothing happened that way. Nothing that happened in that way. He fought back. He fought back. You know how? He didn't fight back literally. He didn't fight back wanting to go back in the company. He knew that officially he couldn't do much. He created his own company, Santosh, viewers. And I think it's called, it was something to do with cartoons and animation. I'm able to not get that name right now, but he created a company, Pixar. He created the company, Santosh. He got some people from Apple to join him, which is fine. Because there were many who were unhappy with he leaving the company or being asked to leave.
Yeah.
He created Pixar, which became a successful company. Santosh, all this for me is an example of resilience. Today, viewers, as we are going through a difficult time,
Yeah.
For me, it's tough because to be confined to the home, work isn't coming as much because my work is training and conducting seminars. So how can I have people come together? Of course, I'm doing a little bit of Zoom, but if I lose hope, it'll deteriorate my mental and physical activities.
Yeah.
My professional vision will crumble if I do not become resilient like a Nelson Mandela from a personal point of view. And a Steve Jobs, who created Pixar, the company did so well that
Yeah.
Apple approached him
Yeah.
and they invited him back into Apple.
Yeah. Agreed.
And they threw out the guys who had thrown him out. So that's all for me, resilience. Don't give up easily. Be strong. Be the boxer. They say it's not the boxer in the fight, but the fight in the boxer that matters the most.
True. You're spot on, Mayur. So one has to be adaptable. I think we got to accept the situation as is.
Yeah.
This is a living reality for a couple of months to, I hope not years, but that's a fact. Okay. Accept the fact. Embrace vulnerability. That's very important. Okay. Accept it as is and try to work on the situation where you not just accept the fact, but you actually also keep an open mind about it. That's one.
Right.
Keep an open mind. You got to work on your strengths. Like in your case, I mean, your strengths are your training. So you're using, other media to, talk about it, right? At least create a brand equity and keep continuously moving in that space. So that's very important that you use your strengths.
Absolutely.
Express your vulnerability. Don't be shy of the shame around it, because this is faced by every person on this planet. It's not in your city, your town, or your country, but everywhere. So it's okay, but be positive. It's very important. And the last thing, and I'm sure Mayur, you will agree, you've got to devise a plan. What's next?
Right.
Think about it. It could be enhancing your careers. Use this time to build on your knowledge. Could be signing up for a course, something which really helps you in due course. I think these are key important areas. Yeah.
I think the part that you said about use this time, utilize it. Viewers, remember one thing. We have a choice now. Either we let things affect us and we crumble under the pressure and the stress and the shame, so-called, or we fight back, which is the topic of the session. We become resilient. But in that resilience that we have, what do we do with it? I would say invest your time in sharpening your saw. Here I'm using saw as a metaphor for your skills. Suppose you are a financial accountant. Maybe you're a banker. Maybe you're a radio jockey. Maybe you're somebody in production. I would say, yes, you may have the feeling that मैं घर पे बैठ के क्या कर रहा हूँ यार, पता नहीं job का क्या है. These thoughts are not going to help you. In fact, they'll push you further down. And if it's not going to help you, then why? So this, with your self-communication, बहुत important होता है, friends. What I suggest is invest specifically maybe half an hour to 45 minutes in adding value to your own knowledge. Do something which is to do with reading. If with God's grace, you have, today we have Wi-Fi, use your mobile, YouTube karo. Learn, add knowledge, sharpen your skills, add new skills. Suppose you're good in accounting, learn something more about accounting. You know why I say this is because, at this point, at this juncture, that's all we have, no? I mean, if somebody says, I want to have a new great job, अरे जो existing जो owner है job के, जो company का owner है, वो खुद सोच रहा है कि मैं क्या करूं?
Yeah.
I met somebody today over the phone. We were doing a video call, and he said, Mayur, the food processing export जो था उसका company, it's closing because exports नहीं हो रहे यार. The airspace is not there. How will they export? Ports are closed. The shipping ports. So he's been asked to go. Or you stay, but we can't pay your salary. So he's in that. So I told him the same thing, that देखो भाई, you need to now be strong enough to not get affected by it so much that you further crumble, because फिर तो problem हो जाएगा. उसको already headache शुरू हो गए. I'm not exaggerating this. आज का सुबह का headache, stress की वजह से. क्या होगा क्या होगा. तो मैंने इतना ही बोला, सबका वही है, they are sailing in similar boats, degrees यहाँ है. All we have to do is make the best utilization and plan. You know, Santosh, a resilient person can also become innovative and creative,
Yeah.
because वो resilience एक positive energy होती है.
Hmm.
So like you said, add knowledge, also think innovatively. Once this goes away, because this will go. And
Yeah.
I have a different point of view to what Santosh said about the time, which is it will be a matter of months, not years, for sure, because vaccines are on the way. वो टेस्टिंग बिस्टिंग होके हो जाएगा, दैट इज फॉर श्योर. इट्स जस्ट दैट जो जिन लोगों ने सोचा कि ये 2 महीने में निकल जाएगा, नो, इट विल टेक अप टू एटलीस्ट दी another 3-4 months. I hope it not, but it could be practically. But definitely the sun will shine again. Yeah. तो be stronger, कुछ नया लेके आओ, be prepared. You know what this is, Santosh? I've used this before for team building as well, but this is also resilience. For me, this is not just a shirt, it's a representation of Formula One racing. And any sport. Earlier, I spoke about boxing, Santosh. Even Formula One, may failures are there. There
Yeah.
are times when suddenly the rain starts coming in. Are you resilient enough to go through that, or you give up and say, oh God, weather change ho gaya, main kya karu? So that preparedness, planning, and strength of the mind is very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And your strength of the mind. And when it comes to mindset, right? There are two types typically. One, of course, is your traditional mindset, the way you're conditioned and you grow, right? The second, and more importantly, as we grow, is the growth mindset. You got to be having a mindset which is towards positivity, towards development, towards growing all in life. And I think that is the a time when we have this growth mindset in each of us and start thinking in a direction that is going towards. And this applies to, it's not just about COVID or the pandemic that we are dealing, or the lockdowns that we are dealing with. In everyday life, also in organizations or in your personal life, when you have challenges, you've got to
Yeah,
look forward to something and come to solutioning. That's very important.
yeah.
So resilience
Maybe,
is all about
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Maybe another word that I can use to describe what you said
Yeah.
is having a progressive mind. It's
Yeah.
not enough to
Correct.
only have a positive mind.
Yeah.
Positive mind is great. I think I would say when you look at a half glass as half full, it's positive. When
Yeah.
you look at the half glass not as half but full, where one half is air and the other is water, you're progressing further into thinking beyond.
Correct.
और एक बात बोला था, resilience can get punctured,
Yeah.
and this is practical, viewers. It can get punctured, that feeling that okay, I'll fight back, when the financial aspect comes into the picture.
Hmm.
Because a lot, and this is a session which is obviously in the context of professionalism more, but it affects personal life as well. So when I've seen people, when they feel that insecurity about their jobs, that punctures their resilience, that pulls them down. And a message to all of you is that please, if you can, I know I'm nobody here, I'm just speaking to you like somebody sailing in the same boat, is pick up those dumbbells and start working out. Metaphorically speaking, not really. You can do really also. But metaphorically, when I say dumbbells, start strengthening your mind, build the muscles on the mind. When you know that there is this feeling that I might lose my job, think what next can you do? If at all it were to happen, are you prepared? Financially, I've got people who told me, Mayur, thankfully मैंने जो म्यूचुअल फंड में रखा है, कुछ वर्स होगा तो है. So go back into your plans that you've done. I'm sure many of us who are working in organizations, with God's grace, we have been blessed with the intelligence that at an early point we've invested something.
Yeah.
कुछ नहीं तो LIC है, कुछ है. Go and get motivated. I'm telling you, I do that honestly. Look back at where your investments were made.
Yeah.
Just the feeling that there is security there, and it'll make you feel motivated. And then look at options. Chalo, ye job shayad may go away. What other options I have?
Yeah.
I told this guy, viewers, I spoke about the person who is going to lose his job because wo food industry ka kuch export ka ho raha and there's no future. I simply said, have you looked at your CV? Have you rejuvenated your CV? And I use the word rejuvenated. Make it alive. No sir, वो मैं भेज देता हूँ. I said भेजो मत. I'm not a recruiting guy. मैं भी ढूंढ रहा हूँ जॉब के लिए. जोक किया उसके साथ. I said, have you looked at it? Because what happens when you get a job, you don't look at your CV, no? So I said, now go look. And I sent him my profile. Santosh, what I am trying to say, and viewers, is it's a time to introspect.
Yeah.
It's a time to look within. Look at your finances, look at the status, look at the fact that, oh, good, investment kiya hai. Chalo aur kuch karte hain. Make yourself feeling good about it. It will strengthen your resilience to fight back.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, lastly, I would just say you got to break out. You got to exercise. You got. I mean, it's very easy for me to say maybe, but you got to find time to do it. You must do it because otherwise, you. I mean, these are ways and means to de-stress yourself. You got to fuel yourself. It's very important. I mean, you are at home. Have good
Yeah.
food. Nourish yourself and recharge yourself. I think these are key points to be thought of so that this resilience is just not a word that you just one day wake up and say all seems to be okay. No, it's a effort that
And
one
and
needs to take on a regular
and Santosh,
basis.
as we're concluding, just allow me to say one
Yeah.
sentence and then I leave it to you. Is viewers, remember, um, this is the time. Okay, we've used the word resilience quite often, which is fine. But that's the topic. But
Hmm.
use this period of time where you have some extra time, and we do, to get influenced by resilient people. In the initial part of the session, I brought in Nelson Mandela, Steve Jobs. There are so many others. Mahatma Gandhi, his resilience towards the Britishers at that point of time, the Dandi March. So read something, watch something which will influence you. That's, I think, what Santosh will help us, to fight back, because we need these tonics to help
Yeah.
us fight back. So this is what I wanted to say for you from my side.
Yeah. On that note, it's time for me, Santosh and Mayur to sign out. You can of course write in your emails on talkrighttoday@gmail.com, and of course subscribe to our channel on YouTube, which is Talk Right Today. From me, Santosh, and Mayur. Bye bye.
Be strong, be resilient.